Perfect. Perfect. Welcome to Dirty Fanatic.
Falcon fans, Falcon Nation, DFU is back with a pop-up show on Sunday night. This is episode 64 coming at you live. It is your boy Chase and Cody. It is episode 64. Cody, what's going on, brother?
Not much, man. Just enjoying a Sunday off. Wishing the Birds had played or we're going to get playing, but we're getting there.
Yeah,
slowly but surely, we're getting there.
Slowly but surely getting closer to training camp. OTAs have taken off hot and heavy. Watching Michael Penix Jr. throw dots down the field. Just crazy how much speed and pressure he has coming off that ball. Watching just through videos, all the hype that we're getting from our rookie quarterback. Falcon fans, if you're new to the channel, hit that like button, leave a comment. We got a special guest for you tonight, man. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss this one. Ring the bell so you know when DFU is live every time we go live. Cody, it's time to bring the special guest in, man. No further ado, the man himself, ATL Falcon Muse himself, Arkesh in the building. What's going on, Arkesh? How you doing, brother?
Hey, what's up, man? Thank you, Chase, and thank you, Cody, so much for having me on. I'm so excited to talk about Falcons football tonight.
Yes, sir. It is a pleasure to have you here on the podcast. As I was saying, I follow you pretty heavy on Twitter, man, with your stats. Always solid stat lines when it comes over to you. You give me good situations to talk about here on the podcast with some of the posts you give out on Twitter. So much love to what you do for the Falcon fans and the Falcon organization. As far as from a fan point, probably the best stat line there is on Twitter. So check him out at Falcon Muse on Twitter. That's his handle there, as you see in the black box, ATL Falcon Muse. It's time to talk Falcon football. Cody, Philip not going to be with us here tonight, not feeling too good, under the weather. Philip, shout out to you. So the first one in the comment section. Avitz said, yes, sir, with the fire emoji. Philip, hope you get the feeling better, brother. Glad you're in the comment section. Hit that like, man. Share it to a Falcon fan. Casey Lowe in the chat said, Cody is hot. Sheesh, Cody got a fan. Hit that like button, man. Hit that comment. We talking Falcon football. Falcon Muse, man, a diehard Falcon fan here in the chat with us here on the live podcast. Falcon Muse, we sent you over a list of comments, a list of questions for you to go through. Cody, it's time to get into it, man. What y'all say?
Yes, sir. Let's do it. Ready to talk about our Dirty Birds.
Yes, sir.
Of course,
Always the first question we have for our special guest here on the channel is, what started your Falcon fandom? What made you the diehard Falcon fan you are today?
Yeah, let's get into it. So I'm 21 right now, turned 22 this year, and I've been a Falcons fan for a decade plus, 12 years now. 2012 was my first season being a Falcons fan. I was 10 years old. We all remember that season, special season, 13-3, NFC Championship appearance.
Yes, sir.
So the Falcons were doing a play 60 thing that year, and I was in fourth grade. I still remember this. Tony Gonzalez and Roddy White, they came to my school, my elementary school, and right when we were in PE, and they came like, we're doing jumping jacks with them. We're doing jump rope. It was so sick. And I didn't really watch football back then. And they're like, we play for the Atlanta Falcons. And I'm like, what is that? Like, I never heard of them. And like, I just thought it was so cool that like these pro athletes came to my school and talked to me. So after they went home, I went home that day. I like asked my parents what are the Atlanta Falcons. My dad was happy to fill me in, and I watched my first Falcons game. It was like 2 weeks before the playoffs started, so those like blowout games at the end of the season. And then I remember the Seattle game. Julio Jones gets an interception to win us the game, and I was like, "It's the most awesome thing I've ever seen." And I'm gonna be a Falcons fan for the rest of my life, and I am.
Yes, sir. Definitely some great memories there. That season was one for the books. Cody, you could agree as well. Tony Gonzalez, one of the greats to ever play for the Atlanta Falcons organization, one of the greatest to ever play in the NFL. Nice to say that played for your franchise here in Atlanta. Definitely some good moments there for you, Falcon. Falcon Muse giving his thoughts on why he became a Falcon fan. Roll call here in the chat. Avis in the chat said, y'all got that Venmo so I can send some money? Sheesh. EQRC said, hello, Falcon fans. What's going on, EQRC? Glad to have you here in the chat. Hit that like button. Cheats Gaming in the chat said, let's go. And everybody over on Facebook channel, I can't see your name, but appreciate you for tuning in. Hit that YouTube and leave us a subscribe if you haven't already. 13 live viewers here in the chat now, so leave a like if you're here. We're talking Falcon football. Cody, question number 2, brother.
Yes, sir. I'll say, Arkesh, you are, from what, listed to Chase, you are the Atlanta Falcons stat guy, content creator. So with that being said, what is like the biggest like stat that you like tracking, or what is the stat that you're looking forward to tracking the most this new season?
So we're talking pre-show about Kyle Pitts numbers. I'm going to be so excited to watch Kyle Pitts, especially. Those touchdown numbers are so low, and it's a situational thing. Like Arthur Smith hated using him for whatever reason, and then just the quarterback play has been so bad since Matt Ryan left. And now we got Big Kirko. He's great at getting his weapons involved, especially getting the ball to them. So I'm excited to see Kyle Pitts and Drake London both. Their touchdown numbers go way up. Pitts has never had more than 3. London's never had more than 4, and I'm sure that at least one of them will have 7 total this year. I'm thinking London goes for double-digit touchdowns. I'm
that would be great.
For at least 6, and that's what I'm excited to see. Just our weapons lighted up, and everyone sees that it was Arthur Smith's fault that they weren't getting the usage, the numbers that they should have been, because we know he's a bad play caller. So it's going to be fun to see how our weapons actually get used. We got Zach Robinson. He's learned from Sean McVay. He's worked with Raheem Morris. I'm just so excited to see our weapons thrive.
Definitely a great answer there. That's probably one of the biggest things I'm excited about this upcoming season is getting to see Drake London and Kyle Pitts finally with a quarterback. As we were saying before show, the best quarterback class in the NFL. Michael Penix Jr. sent behind him, learning everything that Kirk Cousins feeds to him. So it's definitely a great answer there. Kyle Pitts, it is make it or break it year, I feel, for Kyle Pitts here in Atlanta. Kyle Pitts must shine this year. And Kirk Cousins, Kyle Pitts was a big, what's the word I'm looking for? Kyle Pitts really wanted Kirk Cousins here in Atlanta. You seen it on Twitter before the move was made. He said, target's coming soon. Kirko chains in Atlanta. It's great to see that from your tight end, the guy that you drafted so high overall, the one they call the unicorn here in Atlanta, over 1,000 yards his rookie season, hasn't done so much since 500 yards last year here in Atlanta, with a other tight end and Jonnu Smith with 500 yards as well. So if you look at it like that, Arthur Smith, he loved the Jonnu Smith connect. So if you gave Pitts those connections, maybe Pitts did put up 1,000 yards coming up off of an injury, 2 major surgeries he had there off his knee, and then a surgery that nobody was ever even told about until the season finally kicked off. There was a lot of stuff being hidden as far as Kyle Pitts' health. He mentioned that there was times, it was leading up to the game, getting ready for the game, the tightness, the pressure, the soreness, and to hear that Kyle Pitts is healthy here in year 4 in Atlanta, is huge to hear that he's healthy. He's learning a new playbook. You mentioned Zach Robinson, a guy that came out of the Sean McVay tree. Obviously, all those coaches that have came from that, Kyle Shanahan, that Sean McVay, those type coaches, you're getting that as an offensive coordinator here in Atlanta. So there is definitely going to be some gunslinging coming with a Kirk Cousins that loves to throw over 4,000 yards a season. Gets to 1,000 yards pretty fast, Kirk Cousins does. So let's hope for those big numbers here in Atlanta. Cody, obviously, this is Falcon Music show tonight, but for you, if I had to ask you, sir, what is one thing that you are excited about coming into this new season? New head coach, new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator, new front defensive line, new targets, Rondale Moore, just so much going on here in Atlanta. Cody, what are we looking forward to?
Yeah, no, my biggest thing looking forward to is seeing what Kirk Cousins can do in this offense, man. I think that Kirk, like he has, is going to continue to just be consistent. 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, minimal interceptions, no more than 10. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. But honestly, one of the things that I'm absolutely looking forward to is a healthy Grady Jarrett coming back.
Yes.
And the most improved defensive line in the NFL. I'm looking forward to see how not only does that result into sacks, how, because we had issues with that last year. We lost 3 games because we couldn't get a quarterback on the ground. So I'm looking forward to seeing that and looking to see how that changes. And I'm also looking to see how that covers up maybe some of our deficiencies in our secondary, because we do have a question there. So I'm looking forward to that defensive line play for sure, and absolutely looking forward to seeing what old Kirk Cousins can do for us.
Cornerback to a big looming spot here in Atlanta. We've talked about it numerous times on the podcast. Arkeesh, I should have mentioned it here on the podcast in the questions before the show, but that's a question I would like to ask you. You obviously follow the Falcons very deep, so this shouldn't be a problem here for you. Is there any cornerback that is on the roster now that you're looking to compete for that cornerback 2 spot? Somebody that you could see just stealing the job, nobody expects it, and he's cornerback 2 here in Atlanta.
So I love Clark Phillips. He was a huge guy.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. That's my guy. Love to hear it.
Yeah, I love Clark, but I don't think he can play outside. He's really small, 5'10", I think, and it's not going to be a good matchup. Like, you do not want him against the AJ Browns of the world. Right. And he's a great corner. He played great in Carolina last year and a lot down the stretch. I prefer him in the slot. And like, obviously we had Akuda last year and he played great in the first few games, and then like those Saints games, the Olave matchups were not good. Yeah. So I don't see why everyone's hating D. Alford. Like, I'm not saying he's going to be a lockdown corner. AJ Terrell was a lockdown corner, but D. Alford was solid in coverage last year. His struggles was being able to wrap up on tackling, but I think he can be solid at cornerback too. Our roster is not good at corner depth at all. Right. Like, Kevin King is up there, Trey Flowers. I don't
Kevin King, a name that keeps coming up, Akish, man. Kevin King. I've heard rumors that could possibly be your cornerback too in Atlanta. But I love the D. Alford take. A guy that I'm big on. Hashtag AKA the Glow Man on Twitter.
Yes,
D. Alford is the guy, man. I met him at training camp. Cool cat. Actually chatted up with him down in the club section. Shout out to my guy Jack for getting me down there. But chatted up with D. Alford before a game, man. It was one of his first starts, man. We brought him up from the active roster. He was ready to go, coming from the UCFL, a guy that nobody really expected to make a mark here in Atlanta, but just hyping him up before he hits the field, man. He goes out there, makes a shutdown, and I'm like, D. Alford, he's a guy for Atlanta, man. I love to see it. D. Alford.
I don't understand why everyone's so like closed off on him. He played pretty good football last year. I don't remember any times he got burnt down the field.
A lot of people hated it because Arthur Smith kind of took the shine from D. Alford, kind of took him away from the defense and put him more so less on special teams. I don't know if that was a Ryan Nielsen move, if he just didn't fit Ryan Nielsen's scheme. But the year prior to that, when you had Dean Pease, D. Alford shined. D. Alford was a shutdown cornerback with Dean Pease.
2 years ago, he was great.
And that's what I'm excited to see with the Jimmy Lake. The Jimmy Lake here, I believe. The blitz package is going to help these cornerbacks out tremendously. Please continue.
For sure. Yeah. So our special teams is interesting. He almost had that kick 6 against the Bears. Yep. But like, when we don't have depth, you should not play your cornerbacks at punt return, kick return. Right. Especially when we had Cordero Patterson. Arthur Smith just is mind-blowingly crazy sometimes, but I think D. Alford can be a solid cornerback too.
Cody, obviously, D. Alford was one of your picks. Clark Phillips was another one we talked about. Love to hear Falcon fans agreeing on a guy. D. Alford here in Atlanta, man. Look forward in training camp battles. Possibly cornerback, too. We caught it here at DFU. Muse is on with it. A lot of Falcon fans kind of rallying behind our boy D. Alford. So we'd love to see the battle. And I would love to see Clark Phillips, man, possibly be a sneaker in there and compete with him. That would be cool to see. Another Brent Grimes in Atlanta. Yes, that's who Clark Phillips reminds me of, man.
Wait, that's a great comparison. I didn't even think about that.
I love the Brent Grimes comparison, man. Brandon Keeler in the chat said, Cody, we are praying for your family, cuz. Please know that. Shout out to Brandon Keeler, man. I want to give a shout out real quick before we get further into the Falcon talk. If you haven't already, man, head over to Chase Cravey on Facebook. Check out the GoFundMe. Like I said on the last show prior, Cody's dad fighting the big C word, man. Gonna battle through this. We're doing a GoFundMe page over on Facebook. Already raised up to $125 off of 3 donations. So shout out to everybody that's donated. The goal is 5K. Anything helps, even if it's just a share, a prayer link, whatever it may be. Shout out to everybody that's contributed to that. Cody, that leads us to our question number 3, brother. Go ahead and read that one for me.
Yes, sir. I was just say, so obviously the Falcons, took Michael Penix Jr. and we've got other guys like Ruka Roro. In your opinion, who was the steal of the Falcons draft?
Okay, I love this question. We already talked about Clark Phillips. He was the steal of last year's draft. I think Braylon Trice is the steal of this year's draft, and I really love him. I think he's going to be an impact player off rip. A great addition to this defensive line, a great edge rusher. He actually led the entire college football in pressures last year. Some stat that I saw, he had 81 pressures, only 6 sacks, but still, he's been a great player. And I expect like 6 to 7 sacks immediately. And I think Jimmy Lake's worked closely with Washington, and that's where he was drafted from. So I think he's going to be a great impact player, especially on this pretty weak edge room that we have right now.
Especially with the Calais Campbell rumor still not possibly returning. May hang the cleats up here. Finishing off the career as a Dirty Bird. Would definitely hate to see him go to a different team, knowing that he may come back another year. But yes, you are very correct with that. Braylon Trice. Another one I like, Brandon Delorious. Solid guy. Those two guys there, man. You talked about Jimmy Lake being close with the Washington team, obviously getting Michael Penix Jr., getting Braylon Trice, all these players. Do you think, Muse, this obviously is a question off the top, do you think that Jimmy Lake continues with he ran kind of a 3-4, and then there was a lot of looks where he did like a 4-3. He was kind of a multiple D there in college. What are we kind of expecting when we come to this defense? Could we expect this upcoming season?
I'm expecting Raheem, when he was defensive coordinator, he ran a 3-4-2 for the Rams. Obviously, that's because Aaron Donald, you got that big guy. That's literally all you need.
Right.
But Grady Jarrett I'm not saying he's Aaron Donald, but has the same build. He's a dominant force there. So I'm expecting a lot more 3-4, especially because we have so many good linebackers, and we got Troy Anderson coming back too. So I'm expecting more 3-4. But we also have David Onyemata. He can play nose. He can play defensive tackle. So it's going to be a nice mix for sure. And like you brought up, Jimmy Lake likes
so many rotational pieces when it comes to that D-line. I think that's truly – go ahead. Go ahead.
We got 2 more in the draft, Rukaroru, Brandon Dorless. So, yeah, there's so many rotations that we can run.
It's crazy at the depth, and I really believe that's why the Falcons walk away with the most improved D-line, just because of so many rotational pieces. Obviously, D-line being one of the most rotational pieces in the league. So to have that is huge. I think that's been a problem the prior years. Grady went down. You brought in some guys. Timmy Horn was a guy we tried for multiple years. There's others that I could think of. My minds went blank on some of the D linemen that we had this year. Cody, Music, could y'all think of a couple we brought in off of training camp? My mind's went blank, dude. Any other than I could tell you.
Contavious Street from the Eagles.
Contavious Street, a guy from the Eagles. That one was kind of a plus. Contavious Street looked good until he got injured. Would like to see Contavious Street back.
Did we re-sign him? I can't remember. I'm pretty sure that we re-signed him. We got LaKale London back. We got Eddie Goldman.
Yeah, LaKale London was one that I was kind of big on as a backup. But, yeah, I mean, to have now you're drafting players that are playing this backup role that will be the starter come 2 to 3 years down the road. So it's cool to have, cool to see that they're learning behind players like Onyemata, because obviously Onyemata, 2 more years, I believe, after this last year, and Onyemata's up for another contract extension. So getting all up in age as well, too. So things that Falcon fans must think about coming up soon with free agency trades. Obviously, Terry is going to do what Terry does, is cook. So no worries there when it comes to free agency trading and all that. Brandon Keeler in the chat said ESPN has the Birds at 12-5 and the number 2 seed in the postseason. Love it. Love it. Bring it on, Brandon. We'll take a 12-5 season. I'll take 11-6. Just get me above 500, man. Get me in the playoffs. Get me in the playoffs, man.
Wait, this feels like the first season the media actually respects us for the first time in a while. And it's deserved because we finally have a quarterback again since 2021. So it's good to see.
I got a good little question for you, talking about Penix and Kirk. It says the Falcons spent the bag on Kirk Cousins and drafted his replacement, Michael Penix Jr. Was there any other position you were looking at to draft at number 8? If so, why? And was the Michael Penix Jr. look kind of was it a shocker to you? Were you expecting it? What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, so let me explain. So I thought when Terry gave Kirk a bag, I thought it was because the way he shaped the contract was great. We can get out of it after year 3. He has no guaranteed money year 4. So obviously after Desmond Ridder, we needed a quarterback and we needed an ASAP. And I'm glad he went the veteran way instead of pushing for Justin Fields, because I think Kirk fits our system perfectly. And that's what Raheem Morris wanted. So I did think we're in a win now mode with the Kirk Cousins signing. So Penix did throw me for a loop. I wanted Odunze when he fell to 8. I was like, oh my God, this is gonna be awesome.
We was rooting for Odunze too. That would have been a nice one.
London. And because I thought we were building to win right now, right? Because all the moves he's been when you trade for Rondale Moore, which is a younger guy, but still I thought we're in win now mode. And then he goes for Penix. But I was shocked, completely shocked, but I see the vision. We don't want to be in a situation where we have a Desmond Ridder again, a Marcus Mariota again. He wants a clean handover from Kirk to Penix. And Penix has a lot of traits that you like to see. You mentioned he has a great arm, great zip on the ball. He can throw that ball downfield like nobody's business. There's some flaws in his game, but hopefully he learns from Kirk. He can't pick up a blitz as well as I would like him to. And sometimes his middle of the field throwing isn't that good. But all things he can improve on. And there's been so many great throws I've seen in OTAs and camp and rookie camp. So a lot to be excited for. And you said we have the best QB room in the NFL. I do think that's true, honestly. And it was a shock, but I see the vision. Hopefully he's great in a couple years when he starts.
Yeah, we can agree with you here on the channel. We were looking for that edge rusher. We was looking for somebody big name like maybe Latua, or our guy Cody was big on. Give me his name.
Turner.
Dallas Turner was one that we was talking about. We looked at possible cornerbacks here. Quinyon Mitchell was a big one we talked about here on the channel. Hearing that the Falcons, when they drafted Michael Penix, called every team from that point to number 32 to get back in the first round. They actually wanted to trade back in the top 15. Rumors were they wanted Latua. That obviously a Jimmy Lake connection there, man. That would have been solid to grab the Michael Penix and the Latua. Instead, day 2, they trade up and grab Rook Ohurohu, obviously a guy that very under-scouted, I would say. He came out of high school, only having 2 years under his belt in high school football. Played at a school that was smaller school. Then he went to Clemson, got the big deal with Clemson, became one of their best nose tackles. Hoping that translates over here. Obviously, our run game already strong. I don't know what Pat McAfee is smoking on, but we didn't give a touchdown up until late season, man. Very, very solid when it came to the run game. So to add somebody like that to learn behind David Onamata, Rook Ohurohu, actually his comparison on Bleacher Report was David Onamata. So to grab a guy that you already have on your team, man, to learn behind, I thought that was pretty cool. Brandon Keeler in the chat said, DFU, make sure you like, follow, and subscribe to DFU. Our guys, Chase, Phillip, and Cody rock is solid with Birds Talk. Thank you, Brandon. We appreciate the love, man. Check out the Sports Nuts over on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. He's got his own little podcast. They talk all sports, baseball, football, soccer, women's basketball, guys basketball, whatever it is. Brandon Keeler and them covered over on Sports Nuts, so check them out. Brandon Keeler said Nate Wiggins was on Atlanta's board as well. A lot of players we thought could go here. Obviously, there was a lot of guys, and they really did truly shock us about Michael Penix Jr. But we did talk the conversation here on DFU. We talked about the possibility of taking Penix because of just the fact that if you looked at the prior years when they got Drake London, they sent right before the draft, we flew out all of our scout. We flew out our head coach. We went and looked at Drake London. Well, guess what they did right before the draft? They went and flew out to Seattle to go watch Michael Penix Jr. And that was a topic we had to talk about on the show. So it was a surprise, but not really a surprise. We kind of seen it coming.
Real quick, I want to say something.
Go ahead.
Penix was a shock, but it made me feel a lot better. I heard the Vikings and the Raiders and the Broncos all tried to trade up for him. And the Saints. Wow. But so 3-4 teams wanted him and we took him. That makes me feel really good because
best deep ball accuracy in the whole draft, I would say.
Yes,
quarterback prospects. To see that Drake May is already getting reports that it's going to be a long, long training camp for Drake May, to know that you set at 8 and got Michael Penix Jr. and is getting all this praise that he's getting before Drake May is pretty dope to see. Another guy I'm ready to see is Jaden Daniels. I heard he was a very big locker room problem. So I want to see how that transpires over in Washington, to see that you drafted the right guy. You got the guy. I hope Caleb Williams folds. I hope they all fold, but Michael Penix Jr. So definitely excited about the upcoming years in Atlanta. Excited about the years here with Kirk Cousins. Definitely a big Kirk Cousins fan myself. Cody as well was another one. Cody was kind of on the Russell train there for a while. We all talked about Russell here on the channel. Cody, that leads me to my question for you. The Steelers, we take the Steelers on at the home opener against the old coach, Arthur Smith, against that guy, Russell Wilson. Obviously, the hostility and the bins for Russell is already going to be high. Cody, are we in the bins week 1? I already know that's this, but tell me what you're excited about when it comes to week 1.
Man, there's nothing like the opening. I don't want to say opening day. That's such a baseball term, but the first game of the season, man. I'm looking forward to us. I think Steeler fans, that they're going to be able to get tickets to this one. And I just think the hype around our team is it's going to be a lot harder than they think. And the energy for game one, man, is always through the roof. You're right. It's definitely kind of on that Russell Wilson train, especially mostly because of the money. Definitely, watching Kirk and, digging more into Kirk, I just don't think Russell Wilson's going to outplay Kirk Cousins, man. I don't think that, everybody talks about how good Denver really kind of was that second year with him. But I mean, what they wind up, with 6 wins, 7 wins. I can't remember, but it wasn't, now granted, I think a lot of that is Sean Payton's fault, but man, I think really I'm just looking forward to the energy, because I know it's like 110 days now until we kick off. But I'm just ready for Falcon football, man. That's what I'm most excited for, is Falcon football again.
Slowly coming around to being, man, Falcon football getting closer and closer. Cody, training camp, Falcon Muse as well. Are we expecting to make training camp this year? Will you guys be at the training camp on the Hill?
Oh,
yes,
for sure.
Yes, sir. So we all in Fowler Branch on the Hill, man. Just don't break your ankles, and be sure to bring you some water, because it is hot up there on the hill. It is
hot in an umbrella.
Man, it has been fun talking Falcon football. Hit that like button, hit that share. Be sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel. If you're just tuning in, leave a comment, man. Let me know what you're excited about here for this upcoming season. Falcon Muse, that leads me to my next question for you, brother. If you were Raheem Morris for this upcoming season, what would be your recipe for success? What leads the Falcons back to the playoffs, back above 500? And then after that question, Cody, coming to you, are the Falcons above 500 after week 5?
So I think the recipe is very easy, very simple. First, get your weapons involved, get Drake London the ball, get Kyle Pitts the ball, get Bijan Robinson the ball. And Kirk, I already said this, he's great at getting his weapons involved. Justin Jefferson has led the league in yards. Of course, he's one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, but Kirk was helping him get the ball. He was spreading that ball to TJ Hawkinson, spreading that ball to Jordan Addison. So I expect him to do the same with Drake London, Kyle Pitts. Drake London led the NFL in contested catches last year before he got injured. He had 15 in the whole NFL. Kyle Pitts, the unicorn, great player. Those screen passes that we were getting to Jonnu Smith last year, it infuriated me that we would never throw it to Kyle Pitts. He ran a 4.3, 4.4. He's so fast. He's so good. Get him the ball. Make him make moves. Make him make people miss. Bijan took a slant to the house against the Saints week 18.
Yes.
Like, come on, just get our guys the ball in space, and they'll get the job done. We talked about how the D-line is beefed up. So Jimmy Lake, let's blitz all day, every day. We're playing some pretty bad O-lines. The Steelers O-line is not that good. And Russell Wilson, when you get him flustered, when you get him under pressure, he's not the best. Jalen Hurts, when you get him under pressure, he's not the best. So let's blitz on.
You have the new Arthur Smith now with the head coach over there. So look for a lot of go routes for Jordan Pickens. Watch George Pickens on the go routes.
Yes. So let's blitz that ball, especially with our secondary being kind of iffy outside of Jesse Bates and AJ Terrell. Of course, blitz, that helps our secondary a lot. And maybe Jesse Bates will make some plays. We all know he has it in him. So that's the 3 main things I think we'll see. And I think Raheem Morris will establish a more balance between run and pass. And Bijan's just going to eat 1,500 plus yards from scrimmage easily, I expect. He had 1,400 last year. So
a guy we forget to talk about, too, and it's not because we don't appreciate him, Tyler Algier, man, here to have another breakout season. Can't wait to see him here in year 3. Tyler Algier, Bijan Robinson. To me, the best running back duo in the NFC South. I don't care what they say. We can argue in the comment section. But Bijan and Tyler Algier is your best running back duo in the NFC South. Before we get to your question, Cody, about above 500 after week 5, James Hamilton in the chat said, I'm ready to make the playoffs, man. It's happening this year, James. Be ready. Get seated. Get the seatbelt locked in, because we're making the playoffs this year, baby. Brandon Keeler in the chat said, Chase, Cody, when spring training schedule is announced, to be honest, the word is right. It's Birds time. Let's fucking go. Yes, sir. Rise up, man. Hit that like button. Hit that share. Leave a comment. Be sure to subscribe. We talking Falcon football. Cody, are the Atlanta Falcons above 500 after week 5? I bring you this question because of the tough schedule.
Yeah, so we definitely have a rough go, especially with that the first home game against the Steelers. Then I think it's Monday night against the Eagles. Then come back and play Sunday night against the Kansas City Chiefs. and then you've got 2 division rivals back to back. You got the Saints, and then you've got Tampa Bay. So my thoughts on this is not only are we above 500, do not be surprised if this team is undefeated and is 5-0.
Shit.
This
Cody
team
dropping bombs tonight on DFU. Undefeated at week 5. You heard it here at DFU.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say that this team is sitting 5-0 to start the season. I think that this team is hungry. Raheem Morris, the Jimmy Lake, Robinson, all these guys are wanting to play together. They're all wanting to succeed together. I mean, everybody does. But the hype that this team has, especially bringing in Kirk Cousins, I think that was the best thing that we've done, all off seasons, bringing in Kirk Cousins. You can tell that, man, it's just, I don't want to say, 2016. I know, Philip likes, talked about the similarities, but man, it does. It's got a 2016 feel to it. It really does. And man, 5-0. I'm calling it right now. 5-0. We blow out the Steelers week 1. We play the Eagles tight.
Man, I'm a happy Falcon fan at week 5, 5-0. Man, I'm talking trash to everybody. Can't nobody tell me nothing.
Nope.
I'm telling you right now.
Oh my God.
Oh, that follows me over to you, Akish. The Falcons at week 5. Do you believe we make it above 500?
I do. I don't know about 5-0. I'd love that. And I think at least 3-2. Steelers do not scare me at all. Saints and Bucks, I think we destroy them. At least one of the Eagles and Chiefs we should win. 4-1, right. I'm expecting. But if we go 3-2, I'll be happy. The rest of our schedule is so easy from there on.
Yeah, I can rock with a 3-2. You come out the 3-2. You got the 5-0. You've won 2 divisional games. You're sitting on top of the NFC South. Man, we are living high. And Cody, the 5-0 dude, I'm flying with you, dog. 5-0. I'm calling it. I'm calling it, Cody. 5-0, man. That'd be nice.
Yeah, right here first.
Cody in the chat. Let's see. Not Cody. Brandon in the chat said, so ESPN has Spencer Rattler starting by week 9 for the Saints. They're saying a 6-11 season for the Saints. Sheesh. Hey, that just means by week 16, we're playing backups and we got the first round bye in the NFC South. Man, that would be sweet. Cody, we are talking Falcon football with one of the mans himself. Obviously, a big stat guy, a big Falcon fan. That leads me to my last question of tonight for you, Arkeesh. Obviously, you follow the Falcon a good bit. You know what they do in the offseason. You've seen what they've done in the draft. If you had to give it an overall grade and an overall summary of who has been your favorite offseason move, who would that be?
So we've made some great moves this offseason, obviously. And I think I'm going to have to give signing Raheem Morris to be head coach as our best offseason move. And I know he has a negative record as a head coach from back in the day, but it's just the energy, the attitude that we have around the team right now. Mm-hmm. And you see everyone posted, Jesse Bates, Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Bijan Robinson, all of them posted about how excited they were that Raheem Morris is head coach. Mike Tomlin talked on a podcast about how great of a pickup that was for us. I think it just, remember in 2016 when we made the Super Bowl, Dan Quinn had us all locked in brotherhood. Raheem Morris was there for all that. And I think he's building a culture similar to that. He's been around the Rams. They won a Super Bowl with him as defensive coordinator. He's bringing a winning attitude here. And the culture shift is the biggest thing. I don't think we had an identity under Arthur Smith. We were just the Falcons, won 7 games every year, mediocre, just drifting there. But Raheem Morris is bringing a winning culture from the Rams. He brought a great offensive coordinator, and I think he's building something special. And that's my most exciting. That's what I'm most excited for, having a good head coach again.
Love to hear it, man. Raheem Morris back in Atlanta. Obviously, they talked about why they brought Raheem back in Atlanta, and it all came back to the quarterback situation when Raheem Morris was interviewed initially when he was, the co-head coach, interim head coach. And they asked him as soon as he was interviewed, what would be his first move. And it was obviously draft a guy to proceed behind Matt Ryan. But obviously the Falcons went a different route with Arthur Smith. Didn't turn out too well. So glad to see that Raheem Morris stuck with the plan, made it happen here in Atlanta, and is your head coach here for the Birds. Glad to see that he brings that Super Bowl under his belt from the Rams, leading the #1 defense that year. Had some big names on that defense and gained a lot of respect from players, as you mentioned, when the Falcons signed him about how much of a player's coach he is, how he gets along with the organization, how he's been probably their best coach that players have played for. So, I mean, I would definitely agree with you there. Raheem Morris was definitely one of the better moves this offseason. Cody, if you could give us one, I know we made a lot of good moves and we've chatted about it 100 times, but if you could give me one, what was your favorite offseason move?
Kirk Cousins. Easy enough for me. As I've said many times on this podcast, that I was a huge Matt Ryan guy. I will be a Matt Ryan guy until I'm dead. And Kirk Cousins, I'm not going to say Kirk is better than Matt, but he is definitely up there with Matt. Right. So it's going to be nice to have that feeling again that, that you have got a chance to win every football game that you're in because of your quarterback play. And that's one thing that absolutely killed me the last 3 years with, I'm not even going to say his name. We all know who he is. And Desmond Ridder. Just like I said, man, I watched Marcus Mariota. I've watched a lot of football and I've watched a lot of bad football, and I've never been sick to my stomach watching a quarterback play.
Do y'all remember when, I mean, obviously we're Falcon fans, so we were hyped about the season, but do we remember when it was training camp and Marcus Mariota had so many fans excited for the season, like just throwing bombs, running touchdowns in? Yep. I mean, the hill was full, people. I mean, it was packed in Flowery Branch. But Cody, continue on. Bro.
Yeah, no, I was to say. So I'm just looking forward to having a good quarterback again since Matt. But yeah, no, that was absolutely, like I said, I did enjoy the Raheem Morris hire. That was great. It's like you said. I mean, there were so many people, and it wasn't just Falcon players, man. It was Mike Tomlin. It was Rams players. It was players all over the league that
Jalen
were like,
Ramsey, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Yeah,
but yeah, no, Kirk Cousins was definitely my favorite signing. It's like I say, our blood pressure is always going to be high because we're Falcon fans, but it's just not going to be just as bad because you've got Kirk under center. And it's just going to help help that blood pressure just a little bit, which is nice for a change.
Let me give some quick stats. So since 2019, Kirk has the second highest passer rating in the NFL. Only Aaron Rodgers is higher. And then last year, before he went down week 8, he was tied first in touchdowns through that season tied with Tua. He was second in yards. First was Tua. He was fourth in passer rating. Tua, Brock Purdy, and someone else was higher. Lamar won MVP, 24 passing touchdowns. Kirk had 18 by week 8. He was lighting it up before the injury. And he's not a mobile quarterback, so I don't think the Achilles will affect him too much. And I'm telling you guys, the numbers that we put up, our weapons put up, is going to be absolutely absurd next season.
Love to hear it, man. Falcon News dropping stats here on the live podcast tonight for you. You see why we follow this guy, Falcon fans? This is why we follow Falcon News on Twitter, because he brings the stats, brings the facts, and there's no other one doing it like him on Twitter, man. So Falcon News, catch him on Twitter, hit the follow button. He's got a YouTube channel as well. He does edits over on YouTube. Falcon News, it has been a hell of a show here for you, brother. Glad to have you on tonight. Cody, Arkeesh, give me y'all shout outs for tonight before we get out. And Falcon News, when we get to you, please give these people your handle so they know where to find you at.
Awesome. Real quick, can I ask y'all one question each before we end? So Chase, Cody, can y'all share your favorite Falcons of all time? I know Cody said he's a big Matt Ryan guy, big John Abraham. Is there anyone else?
Cody, go ahead, brother. I'll finish off after you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, Matt Ryan, John Abraham, I'll be tied to those guys forever, man. I wore 55 when I played football because of John Abraham. I tried to conduct myself like Matt Ryan did on and off the football field, man. Just two great guys. There's a lot of Falcon fans Falcon fans. There are a lot of Falcon players I love, but Matt Ryan and John Abraham are, like I say, are the big two.
Yeah, I would have to feed off of that. Matty Ice, I would say, started this Falcon fandom. Obviously, wearing the jersey right now, Matty Ice is the man. But I would say I will refer away from that because Matty Ice is so many people's favorite Falcon fan. Another one that really started off for me at a young age. The man behind me, Roddy White. No other than the man, number 84. Roddy White came from a small college. I believe it was UCLA, not UCLA. The one with the dragon. It's got a dragon as a logo, but
UFC
came from
UAB.
UAB, I believe it was. Small school. Nobody believed him. He just had the grit. He was the real definition of a dirty bird. Still reps the Falcons hard. Still gives his input on Twitter about the Falcons. And then obviously I would feed off of that and say the other guy here, Mr. Julio Jones himself. I hate how he left the franchise. I hate how that breakup happened. But the memories that Julio Jones made for me as a Falcon fan, leading up to the 2016 season, just seeing him dominate the Carolina Panthers in their undefeated season in 2015, and not even only that game, just all the games through, prior to that against the Panthers, he just really dominated the Pansies, and it really made me a diehard fan of Julio Jones. I don't think there's another one that'll ever be like Julio. I think he is possibly one of the greatest receivers we ever see play the game, and I'm glad to say that across through Atlanta. Falcon fans, it has been a diehard Falcon podcast here tonight, man. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We at 385 on YouTube, man. So we're trying to hit that 400 mark before the end of the month. Get us there. Cody, Falcon Muse, give me y'all shout outs for tonight before we get out of here.
I'll let you go.
I'll go first. So thank you guys so much, Chase, Cody, for having me on the show. I love talking football with especially Falcons fans, but I just love talking football. So that was awesome. Follow me on Twitter at ATL Falcons Muse. That's in the handle, the black bar right there. Also, I have another personal Twitter, Arkesh Ray, with 4 Ys. I post mostly Falcons content on there too, but also Hawks and Braves. Follow me on TikTok and YouTube, AR Sports Dynamic. Again, AR Sports Dynamic. And again, I just want to thank Chase and Cody for having me on the show today.
Absolutely, man.
Cody, shout outs for tonight, brother.
Yeah, man. Shout out to you, Arkesh, for coming on. It was a blast, man. It's always, like you said, it's always great to talk Falcon football with other Falcon fans. This man, there's nothing better, man. This is life. We're family. As far as I'm concerned, you rep the Dirty Birds, I'll take a bullet for you. So, well, it's good to meet another family member, here. Shout out to you, Chase, for doing a pop-up show. It's always good. Like I say, man, I love talking Falcon football. I love me some Falcons. Shout out to everybody that watched, liked, and subscribed, of course. Big shout out to everybody that has donated to the cause for, my dad. It means a lot. It really does. I won't go on too long about that, but thank y'all, everybody, for that have donated, have prayed, have done all those things. It's awesome to know that, this thing goes deeper than a football, that it truly is a family. And I can't thank y'all enough. Other than that, shout out to the Falcons, shout out to the organization, shout out to all of our fans. Man, without the Falcons, we're not doing this. So it's always great, but always rise up, guys.
Facts, man. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe. It's been a great podcast here tonight. Glad to have Falcon Muse on here. Once again, thank you for coming on the show, brother. We're great to have you here. We're going to have you again if you're always free. We're glad to have you back on the channel. Shout out to you, sir. Shout out to you, Cody, for coming on tonight. Shout out to my other co-host, Philip, that's feeling under the weather, man. Send Philip a message, get him feeling back up. Shout out to all the Falcon fans that have tuned in tonight. Shout out to all the new subscribers, man, that got us to 385. We greatly appreciate y'all. Like Cody said, without the Atlanta Falcons, without you guys watching, without you guys subscribing, we do not have a podcast. So greatly appreciate each and every one of y'all. My last shout out for tonight, man, if you haven't already, head over to Bonfire. Check out the merch line over there on Bonfire. We got some cool hoodies, shirts. I'll just throw up a quick little ad here before we get out of here. That's on Bonfire / Dirty Fanatics United. We are working on that channel for now. Cheaper prices coming soon. We're going to start doing our own merch here in-house. So stay tuned for that. Shout out to everybody that's tuned in tonight. Once again, hit that like button if you're new to the channel. Falcon Muse, thank you once again. Cody, thank you. It's your boys, Dirty Fanatics United. A-Town down. Rise up.